Okay, so the second part of our three-pronged rules of thumb here, ideally, like in the first part, we want that 2 times cash. That's our first priority, but sometimes that's unreasonable, right? That's why our second prong kicks in, our 82% basis. Because let's say that there's a property that's worth 85. I'm sorry, that's worth 100, okay? But maybe they owe, like in back payments, maybe they owe in back payments 40 grand. Well, it's unreasonable to expect that we could double that number and have that much in equity. That's a huge amount of equity for percentage-wise, right? That would be $80,000 worth of equity on a $100,000 house. It's 80%. So it's unreasonable to expect that we could get our 2 times cash rule. In those cases, that's when I want your total basis to be about 82%. What is basis? Go back and watch our intro video so that you can understand some of the concepts of things like basis and cash basis and, blah, blah, blah. But basically, what a basis is how are you in it? How much are you in it for, okay? So if you are in this deal for the amount you're taking over, sub 2, plus whatever cash you got to put into it at closing, I want those numbers to add up to be about 82% of the value of the property. The fact I'm willing to go a little bit higher on this rather than like a cash deal where we want to be at 70 or 75 cents is the reasoning behind that is that we've got the majority or at least a portion of our purchase subsidized by the sub 2 loan that we're taking over, presumably at a really good interest rate. Because typically an owner-occupant is going to get an interest rate that's pretty low compared to what an investor is going to be able to get. So the financing available to us through that sub 2 is really desirable financing. So we're willing to push up a little bit. And again, as you saw in the intro and as we talked about in the 2 times cash video for a little bit, our risk is being mitigated. Percentages are all a representation of risk. And if we have a portion, if not a large portion, if not the majority, of our purchase being subsidized by somebody else's financing that we don't have recourse on, that's at a great interest rate, then it's okay for us to push that value a little bit higher because our risk is being reduced. So that's kind of where I hit that 82% rule, okay? Pretty easy to understand on that side of things. Again, and it's a rule of thumb, so it's made to be broken. If you have a reason why you're willing to break these rules of thumb, that's cool, that's on you. I'm just giving you some guidelines to understand by looking through my portfolio and things, the deals that I've done and seeing what has and has not worked. The 2 times cash and the 82%, those are really where your rules of thumb are. Now I've got a third rule of thumb here, which is the minimum cash flow. So stick around and watch that minimum cash flow video. That one's going to be, dare I say, the least important. But there's a reason that I did them in this order, right? Because I want you to hit that 2 times cash. If you can hit that 2 times cash, you can pull the trigger on it. If you can't hit that 2 times cash, we want to look for that 82-ish% basis. But in any account, I really want you to have a minimum cash flow, okay? So stick around, watch the minimum cash flow video. We'll kind of discuss how you arrive at that number, and I will see you there.